What's up, y'all? It's your girl D back again with another video. For those who don't know me, my name is Mon'e, and this is Let's Get Into It. I'm your host, Mon'e. I am also an actress, poet, and I dance sometimes. So yeah, just giving y'all a little bit about me. So as you can tell from the title of this video, we're going to be talking about something that's quite controversial, but it's needed. We need to talk about it. We need to join the conversation. And when I say we, I mean believers of Christ, Christian women who are real women who, yeah, need to join the conversation. So I'm gonna volunteer as tribute. Let's get into it. Ignore the shadows in the back. I'm new to this whole YouTuber thing. So your girl is trying to, upgrade my little studio. So yeah, give me some suggestions if you guys have some information on how I can get rid of the shadows in the back. My ring light broke, so we're doing the best we can. Okay, anyways, move on. So if you guys are not living under a rock, which I'm pretty sure none of you are, if you're watching this video, then you've probably heard of the whole JESS Hilarious situation where she was talking about trans women, right? And she basically went on a little rant. And I think it was after all this talk that's been happening on the web about how trans women keep saying there's some people, and because I'm a believer in Christ, I'm just gonna say, I don't really refer to them as women. They're men. But for the sake of this video, for the comprehension and understanding, I'm going to use the term trans women so that you guys can follow me. But I believe that what you were at birth is who you are, period. That's what God said. So that's what it is. Anyways, oh, and a disclaimer before I get into anything. Disclaimer. This video is in no way, shape, or form bashing anybody in the trans community, anybody in the LGBTQ community. But I am giving my 2 cents to the situation, and I am giving a Christian perspective. And because I am a believer in Christ, my thought process and the way that I view things, the way that things are, is what God says it is. So just want to put that out there to let you guys know before you get into this video what you're getting into. That's pretty much what my whole channel is. Just me commenting on things and coming with different topics, right, from a Christian perspective. But even if you're not a believer in Christ, I think that you can still get some, get some knowledge from this video. I'm going to be using real research data about the effects of kids transitioning young and how it's being promoted to kids. A lot of this stuff that I'm going to be talking about is not just from a Christian perspective, but it's also just me using information that I got in my research process. So I think that, Christian or not, you could benefit from watching this video and just learning some stuff, and you might even agree with some stuff that I have to say. So yeah, disclaimer over. Okay, let's get into the video. JESS Hilarious commented on some things that have been circulating around the web as far as trans women going around saying things like, oh, women don't own periods. When trans women have babies and have periods, they're going to be upset. And, oh, cis women don't own, this, don't own. Okay, pause. I actually found the video, so I'm just going to go ahead and roll the clip.
I mean, when the transphobia just comes out, the audacity and just the arrogance for cis women to believe that they own periods, that they own womanhood. You don't. Okay, you don't own periods. You don't own womanhood. You experience both, and both are different for every person. But as a cis woman, it doesn't belong to you, so you can't gatekeep it. Like, hello?
That it's been a lot of talk, basically, really starting from people who identify as trans women, starting this conversation and really forcing a lot of ideas, speaking out of turn, really speaking from a point of view that they could never understand. And yeah, forcing titles like birth giver, cis women, and all of that on real women. And so JESS Hilarious went on a rant about it, and I think it's about time. Now, I'm not going to say I agree with the way she said it. I do believe that we should do all things in love because that's what God does. I do have genuine love for these people. I think that they are misguided. I personally think that they are lost. I think they're trying to fill a void and find their identity by switching genders. I believe that what is feminine and what is masculine has been perverted by society. So that's my personal belief. I just think that these people need help. I think that, you know, it's a lot going on in the world, and a lot of the propaganda put out there through TV, through media, has put society where it is, which is why this whole idea of being transgender, something that wasn't a huge phenomenon, is now a huge phenomenon after it's being pushed and pushed and pushed in our faces. So that's my personal opinion. I just want to put that out there because I do think that the way she said it wasn't loving. But at the end of the day, what she's saying is not going to be received whether she said it loving or not, because we live in a world that praises lies, that is offended when you speak out with the truth. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a bunch of comments saying this, that, and the third about what I'm saying, even if I'm saying it in a loving way, right? It's just what it is. So, you know, there's a certain way she could have said it that was better, but either way she would have got backlash. But anyways, I'm gonna roll a clip right now and let you guys see for yourself.
Hello. Who the fuck is gonna stand up for us? Who the fuck stands up for us? And us, I mean women, real women, biological women, women who were born with all the parts that you guys wish that you were. When does the delusion stop? What is the difference between you and someone who has been diagnosed to be mentally insane? What's the only difference is you don't have a straitjacket on. Stop talking out your ass. Wake up. How are you projecting your anger on real women? Because we are the gatekeepers. We are the gatekeepers for periods. We the only one that fucking bleed, honey. We the only ones that can give birth. We make y'all people. We make y'all. Y'all come from us. You can't be us. You will never. You're chasing something you'll never, ever get. You'll never be that.
Like, hello?
So yeah, that's just a small clip of it. You guys can, you know, do some research on your own. I'm pretty sure it's out there floating around. But a lot of people were calling her transphobic. And I think, you know, the moral of the story is who's going to stand up for real women? Who's going to, you know, speak on delusions that are clearly delusions? Things like, oh, women don't own periods, right? Which was being said by this person and a few other people. But how can we, it was said that, you know, real women, or as they said, cis women, which I don't agree with that. I'm a real woman, period. I'm a woman. God created me. And if you were not born with female genitalia, if you were not born as female, then you are not female. That's just what it is. So any way you want to slice it, on your birth certificate, it's still going to say biological male. You still have to take medications and things to get what we as women naturally have. So there's no reason for me to put in this whole gender doesn't exist, gender is a construct thing in my mind, because even if you say, oh, gender is just a construct, you still have to say, oh, let me go to the doctor so I can get my pills refilled so that I can continue to intake hormones. You still have to take substances and pills made by man to at least try to get some of what we have. So like it or not, it's not a construct. Like it or not, it's not made up. It's real. But anyways, that's some of the delusion she's talking about, right? How are we arrogant for saying we own periods? We actually do. I made a TikTok video talking about it. So that's the TikTok video I made about it, really just giving my thoughts on her video and some of the things that she said, right? And you probably heard me repeat some of the things I said just now. Sorry. The purpose of this video is really to spread this information to my YouTube audience who are not on TikTok. If you are on TikTok, make sure you add me on TikTok so you can see some stuff that I post on there. It's really just for me to talk about this a bit more, and I just felt like ranting about it, so I decided to make a YouTube video because I feel like it needs to be talked about. A lot of times as believers in Christ, you know, we're kicked out of conversations that revolve gender and the trans community and all of that, right? When I think we should be joining those conversations as people who have the truth, right? When you come into Christ, you come into the truth. So I was not always an avid believer. I was someone who was in the world. I was someone who had gay friends. I was someone who was pro this, pro that, right? But Jesus came and changed my life. And so I think that I should be able to not only testify to that, but give my 2 cents in perspective on this. And if you hear my cat, he's doing things in the background. Just ignore him. I'm gonna spray him right now. I'll be right back. We are able to join the conversation. And also, I'm an actress, like I said, so I am in a lot of spaces with people who identify as trans, with people who identify as gay, straight, bi, whatever, with people who identify with a lot of things. And as a believer of Christ in these spaces, I'm not always welcome to the conversation. So yeah. So I think that people like me who are believers in Christ, who are also content creators, who are also, you know, poets, actors, dancers, they should be able to join the conversation too. So that's why I'm making this video. In my opinion, all the stuff that's going on with, you know, trans women ranting on the internet about, oh, like, you guys don't own periods and we're women too and we should be able to use the bathroom and you shouldn't feel any type of way even though I have a whole penis and I'm gonna pull it out in front of you and maybe your little daughter who's in the bathroom too. Like, you shouldn't feel any type of way because I'm a woman. When clearly you have a male private part. Like, there's this whole debate about them using the bathrooms. If I had a daughter and we were in the bathroom, I wouldn't be okay with being in the bathroom, because I've literally heard that there's bathrooms that are just like non-gender conforming. I had a friend tell me that they were out and they were in the women's bathroom and there were urinals in the women's bathroom. And for women who have penises, or I should say for women who have penises. It's just a whole mess, right? All of this is a mess. They try to make it make sense. It still doesn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense. Even after the surgeries, right? Let's say if you don't even have a male private part anymore, right? There's still something that goes on inside that never lets you feel 100% at peace. And of course, I can't speak from experience, but I'm speaking about what I see, right? There's always some, you know, mental health struggles. There's always even some complications with surgeries. We'll get to that in a minute. Complications with surgeries that happen. A lot of people are regretting their transitioning surgeries. And when you go against God's design, you get destruction, you get confusion, okay? And there's a Bible verse that talks about that actually. I think it's Matthew chapter 7, verse 13 to 14, right? It talks about that. When you go against God's design, it leads to destruction. So, and I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically the point of the Bible verse, right? That's what all of this is giving. It's all of this. I mean, when you look at what's happening, what's being pushed in front of the children right now, there are a bunch of things online pushing like, oh, if you like Barbie dolls, or if you like pink, if you like this, then you might identify as a girl even though you're a boy. You know, it's like, I literally have heard stories of people taking their 6-year-old daughter to the freaking doctors and being asked, what do they identify as? You know, it's like, she's 6. The majority of the content that's made on TikTok is really taken in by children. Okay, kids are all on the internet. And so all of these things are being pushed, and all this propaganda is being pushed to the kids. So I've literally been told that. And if you work with kids, you know, kids change their favorite color, their favorite food, whatever, like night and day. If they see another kid doing it, now they want to do it. And I've literally experienced 7-year-old little boys coming to class and stuff with dresses on. Because their parents saw them like this, that, and the third, and so they put him in a dress today to see how he feels in a dress. It's like, we are not giving these kids a chance to really be kids and grow up and experience the world. And so I'm talking about that because I ran across a girl named Chloe who transitioned at a young age, and she talked about how specifically her decision to transition into a boy stemmed from not fitting in with the girls, people calling her tomboy, saying that she wasn't really a girly girl, right? And she found she didn't have anyone that she was close to. She was an introvert. She found a community on the internet, and she saw all this stuff on the internet about trans people. And then she felt, okay, well, everyone keeps saying I act like a boy, maybe I'm a boy. Then she joined all these communities online, and people were basically influencing her to transition when she was in school. I believe that she was about like beginning of high school, and then she, you know, came out to her parents, and then she went to the doctor, and she talked about in her video how she talked about what she was feeling, and a therapist just said, okay, that's what you're feeling, and that's what it is. We're gonna start you on medication so you can transition. There was no thorough like process of examining her. They just immediately said, oh, that's what you want to do? Great. That's what you're a kid and you've made this decision that you feel like you're a boy, then you're a boy. Then let's get you on some prescription medication. Let's start this process. And she talked about regretting it. And she's actually suing the doctors right now. Okay. And I'm going to put a clip in of this young lady talking about that real quick.
Until after I got the gender dysphoria diagnosis,
Okay.
when somebody on my medical team had told them that they never presented any options other than transitioning.
Okay.
And
The doctors didn't. Okay.
Yeah, they when my dad asked, he asked what the regret rate looked like, and they gave him a figure of around 1 to 2%, if not less.
Okay.
And they never talked about what would happen if I were to regret my transition and go back on that decision. And they told them that if I wasn't affirmed in my identity and allowed to transition as I wanted, then I would be at risk of suicide. Mm-hmm. So they were pretty much coerced into allowing this to happen.
Okay. So you start taking a lot of different medicines, puberty blockers. Then it was at 15 that you had a double mastectomy, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just a clip. I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of the video in the description box. But literally, like, that is something that's happening on a very broad spectrum to a lot of kids. And now she's an advocate, you know, just for people who, you know, need to know this information. She's an advocate, and she's against kids transitioning for this reason. So when I say they try to make it make sense, going back to my first point now, when I say they try to make it make sense, it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't. There's so many things. She even went to say that a lot of these surgeries and things that are going on are not even fully researched. This is clearly a part of Satan's agenda. I'm just going to say it. Like I said, if you're not a believer in Christ, you can still agree with how all over the place and how chaotic this whole movement is. Period. And again, like, this video is not really organized. I'm just really ranting, and I'm talking about how all of this is a big problem. And I feel like what Just Hilarious did, you know, was something that needed to be said, because the moral of the story in her video was, when are we going to stop with the delusions? And I think that's something that needs to be said. So like I said, I think that really, as believers in Christ, if you're watching this, we need to pray for the state of the world. We need to pray for these people. We need to pray for the kids. I mean, we really need to go to God and pray. You know, maybe even fast and pray. So this video is in no way, again, hateful. I'm just putting information out there because this seems to be doing more harm than good. It seems to be doing more harm than good. Research all the surgeries that have gone wrong, all the side effects. There's plenty of people who are not even believers who are against this now because they started transitioning and they realized, hey, this is horrible. And they still felt the way that they felt before because it's not a body image issue. It's a heart issue.
And I wanted to say that some of them, after they detransition, they begin to get rid of the feelings that they had before their transition. Like this young girl, Chloe, after she didn't detransition back into a woman, now she has desires to be a mother, she loves being a woman, basically. She admires it now. So that's a blessing.
It's an emotional issue that only God can heal. Okay? God and maybe some mental health care. Truthfully. Seriously. I mean, there are tons of people who transition, who identify as what they want to identify with, and they still struggle with everything they were struggling with before. They still struggle. I mean, they have higher rates of suicide, higher rates of drug abuse. This research is out there. Higher rates of mental illness. So what is this really doing? What is this really doing? And truthfully, it's just going to affect the next generation. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse if we don't pray, if we don't start these conversations. So that's it for this video, guys. That's pretty much everything I wanted to say. So I hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video. If you agree, if you disagree, start a conversation in the comments. And I'll see you guys soon. I love you guys. Bye.